Iowa 125-pounder Dean Peterson here in the Hawkeye room. What have your first few months been like with the Hawkeyes?
It's been awesome. I feel like I'm getting into the best shape of my life. I've really been loving it. It's almost like falling in love with wrestling all over again, being in a new environment, in a new place. Because I grew up in Jersey for the first 22 years of my life. I never really lived outside of it, so I've kind of just been taking everything in that Iowa has to offer.
What have you enjoyed most about that?
Honestly, probably the wrestling aspect of it, because there's just so many good guys in the room to train with. It's something that I've never really had the opportunity to be involved with. It's like we have hitters all the way from 125 up to heavyweight, and there's usually like 5 or 6 guys at each weight. So it's pretty intense.
Who have you gravitated toward the most?
I like to train with everybody for the most part. I've trained with Ybarra a lot. I've trained with DeSanto a good amount too. Some of the other transfers too, like Nazir, I've gotten to go with a lot too. But yeah, those have been some of my main guys that I've got to train with so far.
What have you learned about Iowa wrestling that you didn't know coming in here?
Nothing really I didn't expect. They focus on the mental toughness aspect of it. They want to get you in the best shape possible. So there wasn't really anything I was expecting that I didn't see, or stuff that I didn't know that I was going to see when I got out here.
Where have you made the biggest gains since you've been here?
I would say I've been focusing on my top game for the most part. There's a lot of good guys on top, especially like Spencer Lee, like a 25-pounder that knows what he's doing. I think my top game's gotten pretty good over the summer.
What's the level of intensity like in this room day after day? I mean, you know, whether you pick Spencer, whether you pick Ayala, Nasir, go on down the line, you listed a bunch of those guys. How does that raise your game every day?
You always got to be on your toes. You're never really going to have somebody that you're just, beating up on. It's like every day is a grind, every day is a fight. You're not going to go in and take someone down 10, 15 times in like a live go. You're going to maybe scrape out a couple takedowns here and there. You might get your butt beat a little bit, but you're going to get better. So,
coming out of Philly last year, when you look back on that tournament, what were things that you felt like you needed to address to get where you want to go?
Just wrestling for a full 7 minutes. I feel like sometimes I'll score early and kind of just like let the guy hang around, not finish the match how I should. But out here, it's been one of the things that I've been focusing on too. Wrestle for the full 7 minutes and be on the offense the entire time, just kind of going the entire 7 minutes.
What do you do to unlock that scoring potential that people say you have?
It's really just it's positive self-talk. They focus a lot on that out here too. Just telling yourself that you can go and get another takedown, telling yourself you can go and get another score. It's really important to, honestly, mental aspect's very important to wrestling, something I haven't put as much time as I should into, but once I got out here, I've been able to put a little bit more time into it and get better at that.
What was the second recruiting process like versus the first?
Well, I committed pretty early on when I was in high school, so I never really had the opportunity to talk to other schools. But as soon as I hit the portal this year, I probably had 10 to 12 calls on the first day, and I was just I didn't know what coaches were calling me, who was calling me, but my phone just kept buzzing. So it was it was a different type of experience, because there was a lot more schools talking to me than I had been talking to when I was in high school getting recruited. So it's also different in the day of NIL and stuff. You hear different offers, different numbers here and there. So it was definitely an experience.
Did you enjoy the process, or was it a little overwhelming?
It was a little bit overwhelming at the time, especially because I'd spent the last 4 years at Rutgers. I never really planned on leaving until after that tournament and everything that went down, but I did enjoy it for the most part.
What led you here ultimately?
This was the only place that I took a visit on. I had a couple other schools lined up to visit, but they basically, when I got here, they told me they're we're going to sit you down and we're not letting you leave until you're a Hawkeye. And it made me smile from year to year. I'm I love it. I got out here committed and never really looked back.
What do they do to acclimate the new guys? The guys that are coming in and. They kind of let you, not that they'd let you kind of do your own thing, but they kind of ease you into it a little bit, let you, they don't take away your style or anything. They just kind of impose and teach to you what they can. Since I've gotten here, I feel like I've gotten a lot of knowledge, wrestling-wise, which is awesome. It's something I feel like I haven't been learning as much over the last couple years wrestling, but I feel like I was able to learn a lot once I got into this room and under Tom and Terry. So, what have you learned about those guys?
They're a little bit crazy, but that, all wrestlers are. So.
What do you think it's going to be like going down through the tunnel out to compete in Carver for the first time with 15,000 people in the seats?
I don't think anything really compares to it. Nothing can really prepare you for it either. You just gotta go and give the fans a show,